Hi and welcome to Movies Suck. Just a quick warning here, there are spoilers in this review. Well, here we are again, yet another adaptation of a classic book that has stood the test of time, even if most people have never and will never read it, and so don't really know the story of the Invisible Man, which is handy because if they watch this movie, they will not be any the wiser, and this is not even vaguely related to H.G. Wells' book. This is a modern interpretation of the book, and it goes about this modernization by making the main character a woman. Gotta get that woke factor in there. After all, this is 2020, and we have now reached saturation point. So, where does the Invisible Man bit come from? Well, you're in luck, because I will tell you. That way you won't be forced to endure this overlong load of tripe. The Invisible Man, as in the original book, is the bad guy. But unlike the original book, where he is driven insane by his experiments and his inability to reverse the procedure, in this movie, they decided that the Invisible Man would not really be the Invisible Man, nor would he suffer from the debilitating effects of becoming invisible and all the misery and difficulties that this state of being would undoubtedly incur. Instead, what we have is a very nasty, rich white man who is using his power and privilege to make his poor girlfriend's life a misery. We learn that he was the ultimate control freak, and that just like Christian Grey from Twilight... Oh, no, sorry. Did I say Twilight? I meant 50 Shades of Grey. He even chooses what she gets to eat, and where, and apparently think. He could even read her thoughts, though not quite accurately enough to avoid the beginning scenes of this movie, which see our heroine escape from this rather horrible manipulative man. The problem is that he won't allow her to leave him. Not that easily, so he develops a very overly complicated, ridiculous plan that will allow him to be an extra evilly horrible bastard to the woman he supposedly loves and cannot live without. Here is a quick synopsis of that plan, and first and most obvious step in trying to get your girlfriend, who doesn't trust you, hates your guts and wishes that you were dead, so that you will never make her sad or tell her to stop eating so much as it is making her fat and ugly, fall back in love with you, and want to be with you forever and ever, is to make it appear as if you have killed yourself. Because we all know that once you're dead, or at least appear to be dead, that reduces all those difficulties and barriers stopping you from being with your estranged other half. The next step is to create an invisibility suit, and use it to menace your girlfriend, and make her feel like she is going crazy. Then once you have managed this, you can advance to step 3, which is to murder your girlfriend's sister, because we all know that the way to make a girl love you again is to murder her family members in front of her face, and then frame her for the murder. Absolutely guaranteed way to tug on her heartstrings and get that long-forgotten love to blossom in her heart. Should this have failed, step 4 means getting her committed to a mental asylum until she can stand trial for the murder of her sister. That way she will undoubtedly appreciate the way she was pumped full of relaxants and made to wear pajamas all day while thinking about her sister's blood sprayed over her face. The next step is to get your brother, who knows that you are really still alive, to visit your ailing and unwell-looking girlfriend and tell her that if she says she will go back to you and be with you forever, then you will somehow make all of this go away and she will get to be with you again. Of course, if by some bizarre chance she decides to refuse your generous offer and attacks you while you are invisibly creeping around on her in the hospital room, damaging your invisibility suit so that you appear and disappear at times, obviously making sure to disappear whenever it is convenient so that you can get the drop on all of the security guards who come to check on what has happened, then, should your murder of prison guards and general torture not succeed, then threaten to kill her remaining friend's children, and that's just bound to make her desperately and madly in love with you again. And if for some crazy reason she does not find this the most alluringly sexy way of trying to gain her favour, and instead she escapes from the asylum and goes to her friend's house and catches you in the act of showing how much you love her by murdering people that are close to her, and she instead manages to kill you, you simply have to make sure that it was your brother that was wearing the invisibility suit at the time. And it was all him, doing things that would have zero benefit to him, and gain him nothing whatsoever, because that makes so much sense within this movie. And then, explain away what happened by tying yourself up in the basement of your house and waiting for the cops to come and rescue you. Then they conveniently forget to ask any questions about how they not long ago had to clear up your dead body from when you committed suicide, which works out nicely so you can go back to your old life. Then your girlfriend, who you framed for the murder of her sister, manages to somehow pin the blame of her sister's murder onto your brother by somehow explaining that he used the invisibility suit to frame her. But the odd thing is, the police don't know that the suit your brother was wearing was an invisibility suit, because it was damaged and doesn't work anymore. But luckily, they just take your girlfriend's word for it. So that's all just fine. Now, you can get on to the next step of getting your girlfriend to love you again. After all, simply murdering her sister in front of her face and terrifying her for months and threatening to kill her remaining friends is just the sort of thing that would have her eating out of your hand and begging to come back to you. So, her agreeing to have dinner with you one night is a given, and the odds of her being out for revenge is just silly and stupid and a very unlikely afterthought. Then lo and behold, she goes and murders you. After all that loving, hard work you put in to try and make her feel so loved and wanted. Girls, sometimes there is just no pleasing them. So, my verdict is that if what you are looking for is a fun and interesting way to spend 2 hours, then don't watch this movie. Try tantric sex instead. Sting swears by it. If what you are looking for is a clever and mind-bending take on a good old classic, then my advice is to avoid this movie. Instead, go and read the complete works of Shakespeare in reverse. This will no doubt be a better use of your time. Or, if what you really need is to stick pins through your eyelids and pull out your fingernails one by one, then my advice is do that. This movie will only make your sadistic intentions much worse, with its quite spectacularly bad storyline and painfully dumb script. I'm just worried about you because this movie could drive people to doing unspeakable things, like making invisibility suit and torturing the girlfriend. What the fuck did I watch? This has been Movies Suck saying, if only we poor men could understand the bizarre inner workings of the female mind, we would have to murder a lot less people. Signing out, leave a like, share and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side.